right, boys. I'm standing, and it's because I can't sit. But just like they preached in Hard Knocks, okay? We're going to keep on grinding. We're going to keep pushing through. These little bumps and bruises, they ain't going to slow us down, you know? It could be maybe a bulging disc. Who knows? I don't fucking know. But I'm here with the two greatest guys in fantasy football, Joshua Rodriguez and Gregory Fisher.
Yeah.
It's been an exciting week for some of us, you know. Others maybe not so much.
Correct.
But let's recap it. How them weekends going?
Yeah, Craig, how'd your weekend go with your performance?
Well, whenever you put up 50 less points than you're projected, it really puts a damper on things. I was very hopeful though. Like my phone was going off all day. I had multiple, like all my guys were going to the red zone back and forth.
Yeah.
Just you can't have, even it was funny. I was kind of doing the math. Even if I had Alvin Kamara in there and he balled out and got like 20, it wouldn't have mattered. And I played Metcalf and got another 20, it wouldn't have mattered because my other receivers put up 3. It was a horrible week.
Right.
I do hope it gets better. I need to win some games going forward, but that again, I was projected, everyone's projected within 10 points of each other. So like for the most part, and yeah, putting up 50 less just hurt my soul. So I hope it doesn't happen again. I don't think it will, but
well, and what kind of sucks for you, Craig? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off if you weren't done. But I was just to say, what kind of sucks for you? Like, even if you do go on a streaker where you win like 4, 5, 6, however many in a row, it just sucks because you're in the points for hole right now. I
gotta have the wins. I gotta get the dubs.
Or you're gonna need to be putting up like 160 for the next couple weeks just to kind of catch back up.
Hey, fantasy football, baby, where there's a will.
Right. I mean, look at Justin last year. He was, now granted, his team put up some points, but he was still losing, but then he won like 8 in a row or whatever and made it to the finals against you. So,
right.
Yeah, it's around this time though where you do have to.
In fantastic fashion.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember talking to him all week that championship week, and it's like, there's no way you're gonna lose to Craig. Like your team's been balling. Like Craig's putting up like 80 points in the playoffs, and then what does Justin do? He puts up like 70.
Sneaky.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I guess there is a way you can win or lose to Craig.
You never know.
Right. No, there's still plenty of time though. It's week 5. We got 10 more weeks left, so
there's
plenty of time for you. How about you, B-Man? You're pretty high off your win.
Dude, I'm feeling good. I feel like my future looks good. I like the way some of my players are lining up. Maybe the way one of the trades worked out for me.
Right.
True. That's gonna be big.
It might be, especially if Higbee continues to be a target monster. The dude hasn't touched the end zone, and he's still a top 5, like solid points every week kind of guy.
Well, and that's where the PPR is really helping you too.
Yes.
Because him getting 5 for 50, that's 10 points. That's all you want from your tight end, especially if it's not a Kelsey or Andrews.
And like I was looking at it too, just even in this most recent matchup, Craig had Everett who scored a touchdown. I think he had like 5 or 6 catches.
Yeah,
it's
like 18 points.
Yeah, it's like Higbee still came out on top, even though he never got in the end zone. And
right.
I remember last year, like just touchdowns were so much more important.
Right. So. Very true. Especially on the tight end. Yeah, and especially receivers and tight ends, especially.
Yeah.
Right.
We created a whole new sector of fucking viable tight ends with PPR.
Yeah,
when Mike Evans last year would catch 2 catches, but they happen to be a touchdown both times or whatever, you were still okay with that. Whereas now you might not feel that secure.
Right.
Because Cooper Kupp's going to come in and put up 40.
Well, and that's where like I would, for me, like Justin, about his RB2, and I'm not calling out Justin, I'm just using him as an example, but like he's like, oh, I'll take 10 points from my RB2. But like for me, for my RB2, like 10 points, it depends how you get the 10 points. Like Najee, he gets to 10 points, but that's because he scored a touchdown. Where me, I want my RB2 to be able to get 10 points without scoring a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like if they can get that without a touchdown, then I'm happy with it. Like, but if you're telling me you got 30 yards and a touchdown and that's it, like I'll take it, but that's not what I'm looking for, especially if that's all you're getting,
Yeah.
Like obviously that's gonna happen every once in a while, whatever. But
we're in a very fortunate situation without Saquon is, back and healthy and proven to be that, like you said, kind of that number one, fighting for number one overall this year, the way he's playing stuff. He stays healthy, yeah.
Did you see that play in the most recent game, Josh?
No, I didn't. What play
there's one where you might have to go watch it. He like cuts back and just
the
makes
Wildcat, bro. He was just taking snaps.
Well, yeah, that's
snaps running Wildcat, bro.
That's
the fuck is this, Navy?
No, that's because both their quarterbacks got injured.
I know, but like no one could fucking tackle him. It's a Wildcat. It's the professional, like fucking tackle him.
He's the Wildcat.
He's the fucking Wildcat, bro. They should just keep running that. No one could touch him. He balled out. It was hilarious.
Dude, they should if it works. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm stoked about that pick, and like honestly, I'm stoked about my team in general. Like I said, every week I've had at least one person put up like 2 points or 3 points or 4 points,
Sure.
And I've still been putting up really good numbers, putting up 140, 150, 160. So
yeah,
I feel like not to get too high, but like as of right now,
baby. Get high.
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't really had to deal with injuries. I mean, like I said, though, like Dak got injured week 1, he got me 4 points, and so did T. Higgins. So like I've had in-game injuries, but no like people having to necessarily sit out, injuries. So I've gotten fortunate so far with that. I'll admit that, but I've also been able to recover from those, and like I said, put up big numbers. So I'm pretty happy about my
Where does Watson rank you? That's what I want to know, dude.
Number 2. Number 2.
That's my position.
You basically won the league, Josh. You've already won.
At this rate, it's going to be me versus Barber in the championship.
True.
That's what Watson is saying, because Barber's number 1 and I'm number 2. So fuck up. Bren, you're down to 8, bro. I'm pretty sure.
Dude, still, even after that big cupcake victory.
You literally whooped a fucking dead horse, dude.
I'm pretty sure.
You lost point. You lost credit score beating me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all the way down from 2 to 8, Bren.
Oh my god.
Craig, you're obviously down to 10.
What? Am I?
Yeah, from you went from 9 to 10.
Trust me, I've been 10 for
9 to 10.
Yeah, and well deserved too. I will say, silver lining, I got some keepers for next year. So
right,
whatever.
Well, like even though you can keep doing bad, the best part is you can't do worse than what you've been doing. So like
you can only go up. You're right.
Right. So you can only go up, and stuff.
So 50 next week.
Right.
I fucking quit if I would. I quit the podcast. I quit all fantasy football. Yeah. I burned the belt. Sacrificed myself. No, so I would never do that to you guys. I would never do that to you guys.
So you've had a 90 performance, a 71 performance.
Let's move on. Let's not look at these. Let's not look at that. Let's move on.
Well, I will say, like, you weren't been awful except for this last week where you put up 71.
Bro,
I mean, you were 90 and above. So like,
I haven't had my number 2 pick all fucking year. Alvin Kamara has not played, but when he's played, he's sucked. Fucking again. It's been a rough start to the year.
Yeah.
So.
Which is fair.
I got some promising plays. Again, like I said, a lot of red zone looks, but if they don't convert, Terry McLaurin is who the fuck, like fuck Carson Wentz, fuck fantasy football. See, let's move on from my team. I hate my fucking team.
You've been hanging out with Dan too long, man. You're starting to sound like Dan.
God, man. Fucking Carson Wentz is a bum. Get him out of the fucking league.
Dude. I love that Matt Stafford TikTok. That was great.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah. I keep getting really good fantasy football ones. I just like, oh, man, this is the only guys that'll understand what I'm talking about. Right. Can't share it with anybody else.
But yeah, then I wanted to just complain about Shane for a minute.
Yeah, I want to hear about. I was doing everything not to pry in group chat. Please share.
Yeah. So it started off. I sent him a trade, and then I was trying to get Jonathan Taylor from him, and
you were trying to get JT. Got it.
yeah, I was trying to get JT. Because I don't have JT, so he can't get JT from me. But yeah, so I was trying to get Jonathan Taylor, and I sent like Fournette and Gabe Davis and maybe like one other piece or something for JT. So then he came back with Fournette, T. Higgins, and Damian Pierce. I think that was it. And I was like, dude, that's too much. Like it's not like he's performing like JT last year right now. Like yeah, he still has that potential or whatever, but I was like, that's too much. And to be fair, like he didn't try to like, oh, what are you talking about, bro? This, that, or this. Like he was like, okay, well, like, whatever. So then he sent me another trade, and it was a better trade. And I was like, it was like Fournette, Pierce, and like something else. And I was like, it's better, but I can't give up Fournette and Pierce, especially with JT almost hurt, right? And then he wanted, so like we're going back and forth, and then he's trying to get me Pittman. And I was like, at first I was all into it, kind of like, okay, yeah, let's talk about it. But then like the more I thought about it, I was like, if I'm gonna rely on anyone from that offense, I'm gonna rely on Jonathan Taylor, not Michael Pittman. Like he still hasn't proved that he's that elite player, like to say. You know what I mean? Like he had a great week one, but they've only gone downhill since then, and who knows if they're gonna recover. Like Matt Ryan's looked real bad and stuff like that, to where I don't know how that's going to affect Pittman. So I was like, I can't give up like a Fournette or anything like that for Pittman. And he's like, oh, well, basically, like he was only going to want Fournette for Pittman, and essentially. And I was like, that's not going to happen. Like, I want Jonathan Taylor. And then so we kept talking, and we got to a common ground where we kind of had like, he sent me a text. He was like, I was going to send you this trade, but I got scared, so I canceled it. And so I looked at the trade though, and I was like, dude, like I would actually accept that trade if you sent it. And he's like, oh, of course, now my phone is having difficulties. Like I can't log into it won't let me log into the app, which I'm thinking to myself, you're texting me, but you can't log in.
Got cold
But
feet. What
can't log into the app. So it was God, I already deleted it because he was supposed to accept it by 8:00. Otherwise it won't go through till next week. But I was giving up Fournette and Rashad White, Fournette's backup, and Gabe Davis and the Eagles defense. And he was giving me Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, Rashad Bateman, and David Njoku. And so I was gonna accept that. Like I realized I'm probably taking a little bit of the hit, but I was like, if Jonathan Taylor gets back to old Jonathan Taylor,
right,
it pays off for me,
Yeah.
And so like we kind of had this, and he's like, I was like, hey, like I sent you the trade, like try to accept it within like the next hour, otherwise it won't go through till next week. And he's like, all right, like if I'm able to log in or whatever, he's like, I'll do it, and that means it was meant to be and stuff. I was like, okay. So then he texts me at like 7:45, and he's like, what time do I have to accept it by? Whatever. He's like 8:15. I was like, yeah, 8:15, probably 8:00, just to be safe, to make sure it goes through before the game starts tomorrow.
Sure.
So then he texts me back, and he goes, now granted, we just had a trade in place for Jonathan Taylor, right?
Yeah.
So then he texts me back, and he goes, okay, so Pittman and CEH for Fournette straight up. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
That's
Like,
classic Shane.
I mean,
like,
from my point of view, I don't hate Pittman for Fournette, nor do I hate CEH and Pittman for Fournette. I think that's a pretty good trade, but that's me.
Well, also,
so
like
I pointed that out too, Craig, because we were talking
Yeah.
about it a little bit before the pod, and I was like, oh, I kind of actually like that trade, but we broke it down a little bit more, and I didn't think it actually fit Josh's team because he's got
like
Kelsey.
because like I told Brent, I have Kelsey, and CEH right now is relying a lot on the touchdowns. and touchdowns usually aren't sustainable. So if he's not getting those touchdowns,
Who? Pittman?
No, CEH. I'm sorry.
CEH.
CEH, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, this past game he had a lot of yardage and stuff, but if you look at the 3 games before, and he's still sharing a lot with Isaac Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon.
Right.
To where like it's not like he's that Fournette or that Saquon Barkley that's getting 80-90% of the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think it was a good complimentary piece. Again, I
right.
like
Well,
Pittman.
and I
like
told him
Pittman
like
for Fournette straight up. I think that could be like I think Pittman. I think that
well, see,
offense has to
I
move
would
for Pittman.
I would do that if I needed a wide receiver that bad. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I understand. You got Higgins, yeah, Sutton, and
so for
I think
there,
Pittman's better than Higgins personally. I think it's more consistent, in my opinion. It will be. I think at the end of the year, you would
he's
see
the
Pittman.
true wide receiver one at least in his system versus
whereas
Right.
Higgins is like a
but that's
slot
also
machine.
well, you could also argue, especially this year, that Higgins has been the wide receiver one, and
currently, yeah, you could make that argument currently.
Even if he's not, he's like a wide receiver 1A at worst, and that offense is way
that's
better.
just you loving up on.
That's just you loving Higgins, bro.
Well,
Higgins is a good wide receiver. He's a wide receiver too with one potential. Like it's just that concept.
Right.
It's like Godwin and Evans, right? Like they're both there. They're both in that tier.
But so this is where I'm coming from. For both him and Sutton, they're both wide receiver 2s with wide receiver 1 potential. So you would say high end wide receiver 2s, right?
Yeah.
You could say the same about Pittman, right?
Yeah, same thing.
We all agree on.
Yeah.
So we all agree on that.
Well, I just don't think Pittman has the competition that like he doesn't like they have to. He's going to get the volume. It's a volume play almost like, but so is Fournette, right? He gets all the red goal look. So
right. Well, so my point though is, am I gonna trust? And this is for the Pittman over Higgins thing, I guess.
Yeah.
If they're both wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside, I'm gonna trust the one with the more potential to score. Like Indy hasn't been a good offense this year.
That's true.
It's very
true. Their offense is scary.
And how much do you think they're gonna improve? Are they gonna become a high scoring offense? If that was the case, like if they showed me they were a capable offense, like to say, now they're not like the worst, but they're not anywhere near, like, I don't even think they're mediocre, honestly. I think they're towards the bottom, but they're not the worst. Where at least like the Bengals, I leave Higgins in there every week, and I'm like, you know what? It might not work out every week, but he's gonna get, me 12 points where just based off of receptions and yardage, like I can count on him for 7 for 50. I can't count on that with Pittman. Pittman's more of that kind of Gabe Davis type. I think of he'll get you 2-3 points, but then he'll also get you 20 because he scores 2 tutties because he's the only person. You know what I mean? To where like I'm not saying Pittman's bad. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying with my team build, and like I said, I still have high hopes for Michael Thomas.
Sure.
So like in my eyes, I would rather have Fournette.
No, I get that.
And play Michael Thomas than have Pittman and have CH and. Like I said, I'm not.
Yeah, you're in no dire need. You're in no dire need for a Pittman right now.
Right. I'm not.
Especially with having. I would rather have Fournette and the backup like you do for Tom Brady's offense than anybody because you have no threat of Tom Brady running it in ever. So if they're ever within 5 yards to 1 yard, Fournette's getting at least 2 to 3 fucking rushes at that.
Right,
and
exactly.
If he goes down, his backup's just as serviceable. So yeah, I think your team's gonna go. But I will say I don't like. I mean, the injury on Higgins worries me, but that's with anybody. You don't really look at that. So I think Higgins.
Yeah,
Higgins could be just as good. Yeah, like you said, they're both in that same area.
I mean, he was injured last week, and look what he did. You know what I mean?
He's a fucking beast, dude. He's a fucking beast.
Right, but no, like my whole thing wasn't even about that. It was just the fact that Shane just completely went off the grid about our trade when we had a completely separate one in place. Like,
if you don't surprise me at all.
If you don't want doing living in BFE,
I used to always try to pressure him into doing trades. Like, you need to do this now, man, because I'm selling this guy elsewhere. So like. If you don't accept it, someone else is going to accept it, and he would never do it.
Well, and I told him exactly everything I told you guys. I told him about Pittman. I was like, I don't want to rely on Pittman. If I'm going to trade you because he told me, he was like, I want to, basically, I'm trying to get rid of one of these Colts so I don't have to play both of them. And I was like, if I'm trading you, I'm not like I said, at first I entertained the idea of Pittman, but then the more I thought about it, I didn't want Pittman. I didn't like the way my roster felt with Pittman and no Fournette. I was like, I'd rather have.
Would you give up like maybe Pierce and let me see, maybe give up Pierce and another piece or so to try to acquire Pittman?
Yeah, I told him that I would do like Pearson Davis for Pittman. Yeah, or Pearson Thomas for Pittman.
What about Pierce, Thomas, and Davis for Pittman?
I don't know. It's to me that's a little much. Pierce is a RB2 at least, and then
yeah, but I'm talking. I guess you would be giving up a lot of depth, but I think you'd have a chance of proving that starting lineup with having Pittman at your flex over any of those three guys. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, to me that's I would consider it, but to me he would have to throw in another piece. Like I just feel like doing that
Pittman and CEH.
Yeah, I mean, if he did that, I would do it.
Yeah,
without giving out Fournette, but
he's not going to. He's born with cold feet.
Yeah, he's not going to.
He lives in the ice age. He soaks them every night in an ice bath. Boy's got cold feet.
Yeah, no. So like I said, it just was like I said, it was just he did that, and like I told him before, I didn't want Pittman. If I'm gonna have one of those Colts, I'd rather have Taylor. And then he just comes out, oh, Pittman and CH. I was like, at
least you guys
and I told
him, that's good.
Yeah, I know, like I get it, but I was just like, dude, we have something in place. All you have to do is hit accept, and if you don't want to do it, that's fine. Just come out and say, hey, I got cold feet. I don't want to do this trade no more. Don't try to swindle me into doing something completely
we agreed
different.
on this, right? We agreed on this.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, dude, I have the receipts that says fucking
got the receipts.
Jonathan Taylor and all that shit. So, but now I guess nothing's gonna happen until next week if it happens, because he needed to accept by 8:15 or whatever. So
I think it's funny. He's trying to move on Taylor. The instant he gets like banged up, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. And that's that was another thing too. But yeah, so
understandable.
But yeah, so Craig, you got a little segment for us?
Yeah, boys. We're gonna call this one Love or Hate. Now, the audience, you're gonna get it real quick. I'm not gonna explain it. It's gonna be very easy to understand. So we're gonna name a couple players, specifically players that are on your guys' teams. I stayed away from our teams. We tried to avoid plug and plays just to make it a little more interesting, to make you guys kind of think about what we're thinking. We all know Dan always asks for help on Sunday. Granted, none of these are Dan's players, so Dan, tune in next week. We'll hook you up with some info. So yeah, love or hate, baby. Love or hate. Our first boy we got up is Romeo Dobbs. Romeo and Juliet, aka Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, sir.
So week 1, he had a pretty minimal target share. He had 5 targets and 4 receptions. Not a bad percentage for 37 yards. Week 2, that dropped down to 3, obviously because Aaron Rodgers was salty about how bad they were. That converted only 2 receptions and 27 yards. But the last 2 weeks, week 3 and 4, Romeo Dobbs has seen 8 targets per game and has also had a touchdown in each game. So he's getting targeted in the red zone. His average per reception's a little low at like 9.7, but he is currently the number 1 targeted receiver now going into week 5 for Green Bay. So I'm kind of curious. We'll start with Bren. Bren, do you love or hate Romeo Dobbs going into week 5 versus the Giants at home?
This one's a tough one for me because I don't know if the stats necessarily back up where I lie, but I don't love Dobbs. I would go more the hate route with him. Okay. And my reasoning why is Alan Lazard is still there, and I feel like he's still the number 1 target there. But maybe Dobbs is the red zone guy, whereas Alan Lazard is not. So maybe that's where Dobbs gets a little bit more weight. But I also think the rookie is going to start making his appearances.
Well, Dobbs is a rookie too, but you're talking about Christian Watson.
I'm talking about Christian Watson.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Watson come out too. Continue.
But yeah, I'm more of a fan of Watson over Dobbs, so that's why I'm leaning towards hate.
That's fair. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, I'm a little different than Bren on that. I'm more towards the love. I mean, it'll be different though, because like if Amon-Ra's back, there's really no room for him on Nate's roster. Because you're not going to put him in over Evans. You're not going to put him in over Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're not going to put
Nathan has a plethora of receivers right now.
Right. You're not going to put him in over, even at flex, you're not going to put him in over James Robinson. And then you could even make a Miles Sanders has been pretty solid.
He might, though. Didn't James Robinson just have a terrible week?
He did. He put up 2 points.
Well, that was they had like a shit ton of rain and stuff too in Philly. So that was part of the reason that game was like, that's part of the reason that like, who was it? Trevor Lawrence fumbled like 4 times and shit like that. Like, so I'm not saying, and I mean, everybody has bad games. I mean, you know what I mean? So
I'm just making the argument that he could start him at flex if he
right. I mean, I guess he could. I would
would you guys start him over Brandon Cooks?
If it was me, I would start him over Brandon Cooks. Like I said, if there's no ASRB or
sure.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Cooks' targets recently. I don't know if he's still
fun fact about that. Cooks has been out targeted by Nico Collins, and Nico Collins has more yardage so far this year.
Okay.
So now that's all year, so that's 4 weeks worth of data. Who knows if that's gonna
it's Texas as well, let's not forget.
Right. And I mean, yeah, that's the thing too with Cooks is they have been behind, every game this year, and Cook still hasn't really gone off. So you're just kind of wondering what's going on with that. To where I would rather trust someone with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback than Davis.
And especially if like Dobbs is that new red zone guy, right? Like
he's had some plays that
get those touches that Devontae Adams is not there to get in the end zone.
Exactly.
So.
He's looking like that Devontae Adams. He's filling that role. Aaron Rodgers is starting to trust him. I love him. I drafted him. I'm upset that I dropped him early, like I do every single year on somebody. But I mean, I think Lazard's been there obviously for, was it 2 or 3 years now? Is it 2 years?
I think this is like his 4th.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, I think he's proven obviously know Aaron Rodgers and play with Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers obviously does not love him and has not loved him. So I do see Romeo Doubs being that athlete that's going to emerge.
And here's
Lazard.
Here's the thing too that's kind of stuck in my head and why I really like Dobbs is because Aaron Rodgers is a tough cookie to get trust from, I guess, as a quarterback.
Yep.
And he in that game he dropped it was like a 47-yard touchdown that he should have caught, and he ended up dropping it, right? And then later in the game, Aaron Rodgers, it was shorter. It was like a 20-yard touchdown, but he threw a back shoulder. Like he trusted him again to throw him a back shoulder fade, and he caught it.
I saw that one. Yeah, that was a nice catch.
To where I just feel like I'm not saying that he's gonna be Jordy Nelson right now or this year or nothing, but like I feel like he could be almost like Amon-Ra last year, where he's that rookie that the late half of the year. He might be a flex for someone, even maybe for Nate, especially with injuries and stuff,
Yeah, Nate, why don't you go ahead and match him up with Sanders and send him out towards someone, me, for a trade, Trade that boy off to me. I want him back.
I mean, depending who he's getting back, that's not a bad...
I'll give you Darren Waller.
And that's the funny thing, too, is like Sanders is on his bench.
Darren Waller.
Sanders is on his bench, and like if he puts him in a trade, a lot of people be like, "Oh, you're offering me a bench player." It's like, no, he's just someone who's doing really good.
Sanders should be started at someone. Exactly. There's multiple people who could use him in an RB2 situation.
Right, like I would have Sanders over any of the Denver running backs that Dan has right now.
Yep.
Which, by the way, we didn't bring up that trade.
We will. We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. Okay.
So either way, let's move on to the next guy. Let's move on to the next guy. All right, love or hate. Next guy's Jerry Jeudy, boys. Now we all know the situation in Denver. So nothing crazy. He did have a decent week last week. Ended up seeing 5 targets, had 4 receptions for 53 yards, and the touchdown that really saved his score overall. How are you guys feeling about Jerry Jeudy? Obviously, Russell Wilson tweaked his neck. He should be all right. I hate Russell Wilson though, so I think that whole offense is going to fall apart. Sutton is obviously the guy there right now, and it has proven to be. But I'm not going to lie, that we did see even with Javonte going down, we did see the offense start moving. So I'm very, very curious what your love or hate is on Jeudy for next week and even for some following weeks from here on out.
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. First of all, suck it, Craig. Suck it.
I'm so mad. I hope he burns you the rest of the year. I hope this was the bait. You took the bait and now you bit down. You bit down, and now he's gonna drag you through the lake with 0 points the rest of the year.
He took the bait. Everybody look, he took the bait.
Dangerous. He's dangerous.
Nothing made me happier. Nothing made me happier. That first touchdown to Sutton. I was like, already suck it, Greg.
I almost had the first uninstall app of the year on that, so don't worry.
Okay, but anyways, Jerry Jeudy. What's the middle? What's I don't hate it, but I don't love it just because
you're not convinced yet.
You have to choose
because he has the talent.
There is no in between.
And two, I think he's so I guess I'll go towards Love just because of the Javonte injury. So I feel like they're really gonna have to throw more. They're not really. I don't think they're really gonna be able to trust any of those running backs. I mean, you saw Melvin Gordon fumbled. I think he's fumbled in every game this year. That Boone guy, he dropped 2 passes in a row that would have kept the game going for them. Could have continued the final drive, and he dropped both of them, and they ended up losing the game because of that. That was the final drive. So, you just don't trust them. You know what I mean? So where they're going to have to pass more. The one thing that kind of worries me about Jeudy is, because especially this year, I've been watching more of the Denver because I've had Sutton, and now I have Sutton and Wilson. He's dropped a lot of big play passes that were just he's wide open, he should catch it, and he just drops them. And it just seems to be happening more frequently than it should. And so that's the only thing that worries me about him is that, because he hasn't, where Sutton is getting the targets, the catches, and the yardage. Jeudy hasn't done that consistently. Last week he got 15 points, which is a good game, but that's because he scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that was his first really good game coming out, but
right,
he's an athlete. He is an athlete.
So you're either, and then week 1, he only had a decent game because he had that big broken play touchdown, but after that he didn't really have nothing. So he's kind of that.
Well, if you think going into week 5, like you said, they're going to be down. They're going to be down.
Right. Well, that's why
running back. So going into week 5.
Well, and that's why
I'm kind of on the Jeudy train personally.
Well, that's why I said I'm more to the love side than the hate because of that.
And one thing we talked about before, right? The point of this too was do you love them right now? Do you love them long term? So in this situation, it's sounding like you love them in the short term at least.
Yeah.
It could end up being long term, but you're not comfortable saying it's a long term love.
Right.
Are you making love to Jeudy, Bren?
You're not married to Jeudy yet.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Sweet love to him, yeah, for sure.
Good. Same reasons.
Would
you guys rather start?
I hate. Sorry, I hate Russell Wilson. I've hated him for some time. But so I think that's where this comes down. If Jeudy was on my team, that's who I'm looking at as do I love Russell Wilson? And I don't. So I would be looking for someone else to start in his place. I know Funk's team maybe doesn't have a ton of options.
I was going to say there's Robert Woods.
People do love him. Maybe look to move him.
Well, Dan just added Robert Woods. So
did he just do it today? All right. Well, that would just cut that from the pod. Son of a bitch, Dan.
At 8:25.
We gotta start dropping this before waivers go out. I was gonna say, Robert, and I was gonna say the only other guy on the waiver right now, I believe, is another Jets receiver, which Funk already owns the other 2, so he could have a full set if he wanted.
One of them has to hit.
One of them's got to hit, right? No, I agree with you guys. I don't like Russell Wilson. I do think next week is a juicy matchup at Washington. They're a fucking sponge, so. Yeah, I really think they could see some success next week, but long term, I don't like him. I think Sutton's proven to be number 1. I think you're going to have your weeks for Jerry Jeudy, but I think he's going to be that Emmanuel Sanders type play. We will see if talent outdoes Russell's Danger Witch. So we'll find that out. The next guy was Christian Kirk. So Jacksonville's been hot this year. We've all seen it. We're all a little surprised. At least I am. I don't know if you guys are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now, Christian Kirk, with what he's done up to this point, you could constitute him as a plug and play. Looking at his stats, week 1, he saw his largest target share with 12 targets, with only bringing in 6 of them, though, but for 117 yards. Week 2, 6 receptions on 6 targets, 100% accuracy, baby. 2 touchdowns, another big week. 3 and 4, he came back down to earth a little bit. He's right around that 9 target area. Great place for a receiver still. But, Zay Jones staying healthy, starting getting involved more. I mean, Christian Kirk is the guy that's getting the long ball right now, 16.4 yards of reception. And he's the number 1 overall, 36 total receptions on that team. He's the one they go to. The next closest is Zay Jones with 24. And he's playing Houston at home this week. So I'm kind of curious on your thoughts with Christian Kirk as far as same thing, love or hate. Bren, what do you think? Love or hate?
Yeah, this one for me would be a love. He's the clear number 1 there. He's getting paid what he's getting paid for a reason. He was very reliable when he was at Arizona, so it was like maybe he only got 5 targets a game, but it was like he got all 5 targets. He was catching them all. So he's got very reliable hands, in my opinion. If he did as well as he did in that terrible weather game, he still looks good going forward. So I'm a love fan for him.
Nice, Josh.
Yeah, I'm with Brent on this. I'm love.
Yeah.
Because not only that,
like maybe a little gay love to it,
just a little, yeah, just the tip type of gay love,
just a normal straight amount of gay, right?
Yes.
But as I'm getting a look from Melanie right now,
they just
but yeah, no,
Jeffrey Dahmer gay, right?
yeah, exactly. Minus the
like
murder.
if he was dead, I'd fuck him, yeah.
But no, like the thing that I look at is too, outside of the yards per catch that Craig brought up, is his targets, and he's 12, 6, 9, and 9, and so like last week it was 2 for 60. He still got 9 targets, and
that's great.
So,
it's a great amount,
right? So, and like I said, that's gonna happen to everyone, and still he only had 2 receptions, but it was still 60 yards. So that's 8.3, which isn't awful for the type of game that it was. It wasn't 2 points or 3 points. Like to where he's still, to me, he's the number 1 there. Even in games, like the Chargers game, they were blowing out the Chargers. He still gets 9 targets. To where it's not even like, games that they're up super high, he only gets like 3 targets because of it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So to me, he's their number 1 receiver. I would put him above Pittman right now, just because I think that offense is better than
interesting.
Indy's offense, and I think he would be in the same consideration. Even though I know he's a wide receiver 1 now, I think he might finish just outside of that. So I would put him with the Higgins and Sutton category of a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside. And I think he's, so like I said, I love him.
I'd agree. I mean, like you said, he got paid, and he's definitely doing what he's proven that he was worth the money. Reminds me of Tyler Lockett in his heyday.
Okay.
Minus Russell Wilson being a dud. So nice. All right. Well, yeah, that was an easy one. We all love Christian Kirk. He's proven it. So hopefully he can maintain that type of volume going forward, makes those big plays. If Jacksonville keeps humming like they are, they're obviously going to be a contender. So
they're the favorite to win the AFC South.
It makes sense. I'm excited to see, and I like their uniforms, so I'm excited to see it.
Okay, one of the sweetest uniforms though are the Saints. Those all whites with the gold numbering and shit. Those are some of the cleanest. Anyway, sorry, Craig. Go ahead.
Some brand New Balances with those bad boys. Last guy was what we want. You can actually talk about the trade now too, because it's Melvin Gordon. So now I had a bit of I didn't get stats on Melvin Gordon, unfortunately. I did see essentially that the first 3 weeks, his attempts obviously splitting with Javonte, he was still getting 10, 12, and 10, or 12, 10, and 12. Which is obviously respectable. That's about what you see from your backs like Kareem Hunt, Melvin Gordon, stuff like that. Now that Javonte's gone, So this is it's kind of interesting because with the trade again, I thought it happened way too soon. He's clearly going to get a lot of volume at the very least this first week. So this might be the most valuable he is, so I can understand that. But I don't think Latavius Murray is going to... I mean, I just see him just being a volume back, even though he's not that skilled. You can fix fumbling. He's been in the league a while, so like hopefully he can. I know he's done it historically a lot, but I don't know. I just feel like I guess going into week 5 for the topic of right now, do you love or hate him going into next week is what I'm curious about. I obviously I love him, so.
Yeah, I hate him. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna trust him that much because last week he had, like I said, I think that was his 4th or 5th fumble in the first 4 games. And when Javonte went down, Mike Boone outsnapped Melvin Gordon. So even though he might be the quote unquote starter, I feel like especially once Latavius gets up to, because Latavius isn't gonna be a factor this week because of the short week, and he just got signed like Monday or whatever,
Sure.
So it'll probably just be Boone and Gordon, but I think they're gonna, like I said,
You think
both
it'll be
of
more of
those,
an even workload between Boone
yeah,
and Gordon? It's
and
not going to be. You don't think it'll be
right,
heavier on Gordon? Okay, that's fair.
no, I don't think it'll be heavier on Gordon. Now, does he have an opportunity to fall in the end zone twice? Sure. So he might have I feel like if he does boom weeks, it's gonna be because he has 50 yards and on 12 carries and 2 touchdowns. But I
Yeah.
don't think he, like Javonte, the first game he had 11 receptions. I don't think Melvin Gordon has anywhere near that. He might get 1 or 2 here or there, but like I said, I think they're gonna go run heavy or pass heavy. I'm sorry, in the future. Obviously, if they're blowing out a team by like 30 midway through the third, it's more likely they're gonna run, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, if it's a neutral game script, I feel like they're gonna be passing, and like I said, the offensive line, though, especially the last 2 games against good defenses, they haven't really done anything. Like Seattle, week 1, Javonte averaged 6.1 yards a carry. Week 2 against Houston, 5. But those are 2 bad defenses where San Fran, it was 3.9 for Javonte against Las Vegas, who has a better run defense than pass defense. It was 2.8. So, especially if it's a good defense, I don't think Melvin's going to be, it'll be one of those 15 for 35 type of games and maybe fall in the end zone.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one as well, Josh. I'm not a lover of Melvin. And for a lot of the same points too. So I'll just give my tidbit on like the trade that like went through. That's why I was kind of fine with it because I think it's still good for Dan with just the sheer opportunity, like you were saying about him potentially just falling in the end zone, and he was already getting about 15 attempts on the ground with him. So if he can hold on to the ball, it should be pretty reasonable. But I think Denver does pass a little bit more and stuff. And I like Alan Lazard too. I think he's a potential flex start for Justin. So I was okay with the trade. I didn't mind Gordon going over to Dan or whatever.
Yeah, when it came to the trade, at first when I saw the name Melvin Gordon going to Dan, I was like, because I had offered him Damian Pierce for Mike Williams.
Okay.
And I was like, he chose Melvin Gordon over Damian Pierce. Like, I'd rather have Damian Pierce. Like he could have at least haggled with me. I might have gave it to him a little cheaper or something. But then when I saw what he gave up, like you said, I didn't hate the trade. It's just not who I would have chosen as my replacement for. But he didn't give up much. So like I'm not. To me, it was just it was kind of a lateral trade. Like it didn't really make Dan better. It might have made him worse, but based off of what he gave up, it's not like he gave up a starter, like to say, that would have replaced Javonte or something like that.
And looking at like Justin's team, he didn't give up too much either.
Right.
And potentially gains a flex starter down the line. Maybe you don't love him right now, but yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and the only thing it really helped Justin with is the defense, right away. That is right away, is now he could put in the defense, and that might be his defense going forward.
They got some good matchups coming up too, I noticed. So that's good. Yeah, I initially thought again it was I see how it goes both ways. Just kind of just cutting ties on your bench with players you don't have faith in. So
yeah.
And obviously with Lazard, like you mentioned, I mentioned I like Dobbs. I think it's the opposite with Dobbs being the up and comer, but it could easily just be Lazard. So.
Right.
So yeah, understandable. I do love Gordon this week though, guys. I do think I think Denver has trusted him this long. I think they're going to trust him again. I think he outsnaps his competition, and I bet you he falls in the chance of him falling in the end zone is
well, and that's to me that's what it's gonna take though is that offense to me it kind of depends what you think of that offense though. Like you already said you don't like that offense, so like
great matchup next week though. I hate the offense, but man, the Commanders blow
next week as in tomorrow. As in tomorrow against Indy. Indy has one of the best run defenses with DeForest Buckner in there.
Oh, I'm getting confused. I'm sorry. With Denver,
they
I
face
apologize.
Indy. Yeah, they face Indy tomorrow.
They face Indy. Okay, yeah. No, I apologize. I was mistaken. Yeah. That's a different matchup. Yeah, that's like middle of the pack. So, still,
no, I get what you're saying.
I still think I don't know. I like the situation Melvin Gordon's in. I think Denver trusts him. I understand the appeal of not liking him where Justin's at, and I do understand the appeal of wanting to start him at least next week, or at least hold on to him to see how it plays out. I think next week is your best chance to play him to get that high volume amount. I think if you don't play him next week, there's a literally large chance he shows his hand and he doesn't start the rest of the year. He's just back to 8 to 10 snaps a game. So
right.
But yeah, those are all the players for the love and hate segment. So next week we'll try to do again. I'll try to get players on everybody's team. That's obviously not us. Sometimes it will be us if it's someone decent to talk about. But
yeah, and in case people are wondering, we were supposed to have Justin on this week. He couldn't do it this week. So we're planning on having him next week. So if you're wondering why you haven't heard Justin's voice yet,
he's really shy.
So so that's why he's a little gun shy. I'm just curious real quick on the Melvin Gordon thing. If Dan views that as a long-term thing, like if that is his answer at RB2, or if he's still gonna try to make another move, and that was just more of a band-aid. You know what I mean?
I don't think there's any way he settles for Melvin Gordon being his RB2. I think he's got to make a move somewhere.
Right, but then it's like kind of like I don't know. For me, it's kind of what's he willing to give up for what kind of tier of RB2? You know what I mean? Is he trying to acquire? So that's the only thing, like I said. But
hey, Dan, you want some ETN, bro? I got ETN over here to looking for a team.
Give him Zeke.
Oh, I got Zeke too. Yeah,
Zeke for Mike Williams.
Zeke for Justin Jefferson. Let's go. I feel that's fair.
I was gonna offer him a trade for Jefferson, but I'm like, I don't think he'll ever trade Jefferson.
I'll give you Zeke, Terry McLaurin for Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, you got to trade horse for horse. Justin Jefferson's a lean horse. Zeke is just a man horse.
Man horse is a thoroughbred stallion.
Gotta love those man horses.
Yeah, that's a solid trade right there. If I were Dan, I'd accept it.
Let's make it happen, Dan. Let's make it happen.
You heard it here first, boys.
Definitely no collusion should be involved in that at all.
All right, boys, you ready to move on to the matchups?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, let's do a quick recap of the picks. Bren.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you, Ike, and Craig all went 3-2.
Yes.
So Bren, you're at 9-11.
Mm-hmm.
Craig, you're at 10-9.
Okay.
And then what's his face? Ike. I can't believe I just forgot my dog's name. Ike is 12-8.
At least you didn't call him that black bastard.
Okay, Blackie.
Right.
Goddamn Blackie over there.
Goddamn Blackie.
Oh shit, B-Man, I messed up yours. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
No, you have a better record. I was wondering what happened. Okay. So actually
scared me.
You have a way better record.
Stop. How are you messing this up? Are you sure it's not mine? I think it's my record.
Oh no, I was right. Yeah, I was right. You're fucked up, Brad. Yeah, you're dumb.
No.
You can't pick with shit. Exactly.
What? Take that back.
But no, so yeah, last week you went 3-2, all you went 3-2. I went 5-0 though. So
What?
booyah.
All right,
Yep.
there's collusion
First sweep?
there.
Was that the first sweep of the year? I think so.
I believe so, yeah.
You set the bar high, my friend. You set the bar high.
Yep, so I'm now at 14-6. And then we all went 3-2 in the over under. So I'm 10-10. Bren, you're 12-8. Craig, you're 14-6.
Wish I could hit those in real life because I'm pretty sure I'm not betting any more money because I lost all my money. So
yeah, I've been hovering around 50, but
I wish I tried 50. That's where I was trying to hover around.
So, but yeah, so all right, who do you want to do first? What matchup? Let's start with Nate and Justin. We'll start with that one.
For sure.
So when I did this yesterday, Justin was 127.7, Nate's 130.1, grand total of 257.8. B-Man, who you going?
Ooh, this one could be a high scoring affair.
Yes.
Justin looks like he's pulled out Najee.
Oh,
and
really?
DJ Moore.
Got Breece Hall in there.
Bench.
Which is fair. That's fair.
Yeah, no, Breece Hall's been looking pretty good.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of questionables on that team over there. I got to go with my man, Chad Michael Powers.
Chad Michael.
Nate's been doing really well recently. His team's been scoring. I don't know if Amon Ra's going to be back, but if Amon Ra's back, yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
So, I think he could slip in Miles Sanders, too. After a big week, maybe he booms again for you. So, I really like Nate's team. I'm going to go with him.
All right, Craig, who you going?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one. Good matchups all around. Justin has some very favorable matchups, but as does Nathan. Evans at Atlanta, Tom Brady. I don't know. We don't know if Tom Brady's going to play. So I think if he does, Tom Brady's and Evans at Atlanta could be a high scoring affair for them. Funny enough, Darren Waller, Kansas City. This will probably be the week he comes back and starts getting some more. Kind of comes back to form, gets some of the production he needs. But I do see Hockenson still being valuable with Amon-Ra being out. Waddle kind of drops in value. I mean, I know they still won and we're throwing. What's the replacement for Tua? What's his name? Old boy.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh yeah. So he's coming back looking like he never had a punctured lung.
That's because he hasn't. That was Tyrod that had the punctured lung.
Was that Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah.
They're basically the same person.
They're literally the same person in my head. They're
Teddy's the one that
squirrely black man out there running around throwing the ball.
Teddy's the one that blew out his knee in Minnesota.
That's right. Sorry. I apologize, but yeah, I mean, I agree.
People, they all look the same.
They all look the same. Oh man, now we gotta edit that out. I'm not racist. I swear. I just like.
By the way, I was on our. I had to go to our the BBB Boys webpage, to make sure the video was up or whatever, and I saw our week 1 episode had 45 views. I was like, what? How did we get 45 views? I'm like,
a couple
blowing up, boys. We're blowing up,
dude.
I was like, did one of the
algorithm likes us
get drunk and just listen to it on repeat or something? Like,
it takes into account IP address, so it would have to be
so it's 45 different
45
people,
unique people. Yeah.
Wow. So
I'm just gonna start spamming our fucking links in all the video games I play. Come check us out.
I told
we'll get a bunch of bad
it was probably people that are looking for like new podcasts, like fantasy football ones or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder what this is," and then they listen to like 5 minutes of it, and they're like, "Fuck these guys, we're done."
I'm pretty sure you can look at something that shows like where people listen to and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, we're blowing up, boys. Our
yeah,
next step is the White House. Let's go.
yeah. All right, sorry.
I go Chad Powers.
I was about to say, sorry, I derailed us a little.
Yeah, all right. Nathan
That's
all day.
okay.
I think Nathan's on it as a freight train. Eckler and Chubb. I just Eckler and Chubb on another level. So if they score, but still they're very elite running backs. Eckler's got the pass catching ability. Chubb's got the touchdown capability. He's got I could say multiple nice things about both teams, but I think it's going to be Nate.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough one here. Ike went Nate as well.
Okay.
Thank God.
Oof. I kind of like though the Brees Hall play. It's all about what his flex does in Curtis Samuel.
Right.
I would almost play Najee instead of Curtis.
No, dude.
Instead of Curtis Samuel?
Curtis Samuel has proven to be just that slot, just that guy he gets a lot of attention from Wentz, and Tennessee's a favorable matchup for that. That's and what's his face? That third guy, the third wide receiver just got hurt. So
Jahan Dotson. That's a fair
Dotson.
point. Yeah.
So
all that being said, I guess I'll go Nate too. So that's a clean sweep for Nate.
And Justin's not here to defend himself this
right?
week.
Yeah,
Poor guy.
Right? He could have possibly swayed me, kind of like.
Sorry, bitch. Better luck next week.
Right, exactly. So all right, so over under on this one.
For me, over total.
Yeah, over the total on this one for me as well.
Yeah, that's all of us are over.
Yeah, we got some.
I maybe don't know who's gonna win, but yeah, I have a feeling these two boys put up points.
Yeah, same.
All right, so we got all over the total of 257.8. All right, let's go to probably. I don't know. I don't want to say that because it's mean, but me versus Funk. I feel like one of the more least interesting matchups of the week.
I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first, Craig.
So I'm just going to start off with Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the league.
My God, yeah. I can't
number
believe
one scoring offense. You see how many points they're putting up, bro?
God,
man. I bet you LA's really upset with that fucking ring they got last year. Anyway, Henry, fuck them, right? So I give him that over Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson's a fucking bum and I hate him. And
Such a bum.
He's a little pussy, dude.
He's a fake ass pussy.
He's a baby man, dude. He's a baby man. He probably gets dominated by his wife in bed.
Oh, definitely.
Yep, dude.
Yep.
He's just
baby face,
bro.
Ugh,
people who start him probably also get dominated in bed.
All I hear from you guys is penis envy, really.
That's like my middle name is penis envy. Anyway, I do like Barkley, but I like Henry's matchup too. But Barkley, as I've said earlier, I think he's playing on another level. So I'll just cross those out because Henry has that potential. But I would give you the lean there. Fournette over Edmonds all day. If you talk T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, might as well cancel each other out. Sutton with how much that pussy baby face, short curly hair Jufro quarterback throws to. I think Sutton and Wilson.
Jew.
Whoa, now. I think him and Wilson I have the same potential. This is a really close matchup. I do think you have the edge with Kelsey.
You said Sutton and Wilson have the same potential? Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, because you're fucking Russell Wilson's a piece of shit. What do you want from me? Do that whole
but look at the production compared to Wilson.
The boy gets Sutton gets some volume. I'll give him that.
Russell Wilson's a bum. Zach Wilson
bangs moms, dude. He bangs hot moms.
So many moms.
Yeah,
he came back out last week and he's like, "Yo, I fucked your mom." Then he won the game, dude.
Yeah, and how did Garrett Wilson do that game, huh?
I don't fucking care. He's gonna do great this week. That's all I know.
2 for 41. Okay.
Well, it's because they were up so much. They just need to run the ball. Listen, game script comes to game script. Jufro sucks. I hate Russell Wilson.
Jufro's the
I give you Kelsey.
I'm surprised you gave me Kelsey because I heard Kyler Murray plays
Now,
COD,
all that
which
being
means he
said, I'm
blames
going with
bitches.
Josh.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm still picking you, Josh. Like I still like your team better. I don't really like. Again, I don't trust Judy, for the same reasons. Koo, Koo might do some stuff, but who fucking cares about kickers? But yeah, you got a good
That's the
defense.
number
I
one
like your.
kicker right there.
It is. I do like your. Philly's defense has been playing real well, so I gave it to you.
Yeah, I really like your team going forward, Josh. I think your team has like the biggest like exponential growth curve going on. You're only going up, and I see you only going to continue up. Guys like
Yes,
T.
sir.
Higgins, Damian Pierce are just seeing a shit ton of volume, and they're doing shit with it. Kelsey is literally a wide receiver one sitting in your fucking tight end spot. It's phenomenal. So
Should be illegal.
it should be, honestly. It's fucking wild. It's like every week I look at his score, he's in the 20s. It's insane.
Well, it's funny you said that because I was watching that game on Sunday night. I was like, we're not even out of the first quarter, and he has 6 catches, 7 targets.
Yeah.
Bro, your house scores fucking 25 QBs every week. Like,
right. And so, like, Justin says the QB differential, like, that's where the tight end differential is way bigger.
Yeah.
Of those top 2 tight ends, even with
right. Like,
injuries.
I feel like if you draft Kelsey, like, you put yourself in an immediate spot for like
Right.
being in the playoffs or championship game. It's insane.
Right. So, like, barring injury, he's already like, I'm so happy I took him in the first round.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead, B-Man.
Yeah, no, I'm going with you because, like I said, I like the trajectory of your team. Like, I think you just keep going up, and whereas like Funk, like I said, Funk is the team I felt needed to go out and make some moves. Obviously he's still feeling it out and doing his thing. I'm all for him. And he's got some potential. I mean, I know we were shitting on Garrett Wilson just a second ago, but if you look at him, he is seeing a lot of targets. So there is the upside there. We talked about Judy a little bit earlier, whereas at least right now, maybe you've got some heavy love for him because they might be throwing it a little bit more.
Right.
You can't argue the potential with Ertz too. He's been getting looks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, Ertz is solid. Ertz is a solid choice there. Yeah. No, he's
Ertz
okay
has
there.
a floor, and Ertz is one of those guys that could maybe match Kelsey if he hits on a week. You know what I mean? Not on a consistent basis, but like, at any given week that if I was facing Funk, Ertz could either match him or kind of keep up with him,
And I do love his Cowboys versus the Rams play. Like, the Rams on offense are struggling. So he's got a good matchup there.
Well, I know that's where I kind of struggled with because I have Denver against Indy. Indy's struggling. But then I'm like, the Eagles are playing so good, and if you watch you have Kyler, you know how much. Well, yeah, you know how much they've struggled. So I'm like, I'm just keeping the Eagles defense in, and even if they only get me 6 points, whatever. And plus, I don't really want to play 3 people on a Thursday night.
I was just gonna say nobody loves a Thursday night game, dude.
Right. So it's like, whatever. But yeah, no, Brian, I appreciate the kind words that you have said about my team. And I was actually thinking about that today, that I was like, man, like, this is the best I felt about my team, like, sincerely, in a while.
I mean, Watson does need to put me back at number 2, but I do love your team.
That's fine. Put Barber at 3, and I'll go up to 1. That's fine.
There we go.
I'm okay with it.
We came to a clean compromise.
Exactly. But yeah, that's where like I kind of like, I guess I struggle a little bit because like when I offer some of these trades like that, when I offer like a Damian Pierce, like, yeah, but I just feel like people see like, oh, he's a rookie, he's Damian Pierce, he's on the Houston, like, I don't want him. He's not an RB2. Like, it doesn't always work that way. You know what I mean?
Not
like,
always. Right.
Right. And you got to kind of sometimes look like we're a Michael Thomas. Like, okay, yeah, he might not be like wide receiver 1 overall, but he might be one where you throw in, that I try to throw in with like a Damian Pierce, because he has that upside. Now, health has been an issue too, where like I get that, and stuff like that. But it's like, yeah, these players like Damian Pierce, I'm like, can you guys just look at the bigger picture? Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And so, but like right now, I'm okay with having him as insurance for Fournette, or if, God forbid, Barkley gets hurt, and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I'm stoked about my team. Like I said, I mean, can any or all of Funk's team hit? Yeah, sure. But to me, that's kind of what's going to take for him to beat me is either my entire team shit in the bed or his entire team balling out, kind of like Nate's team did last week. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I'm picking myself. And by the way, I'm really pissed because the last 2 weeks I finished second in points. Last week I finished second to Barber by less than a point. And then I guess this past week, just now, week 4, Nate fucking comes out of nowhere with San Francisco's defense and gets 24 points from them and snags most points from me. I'm like, man, what do we get? I can't take you to dinner now, Melanie, because these two guys just sniped me of most points. Like,
what? I'm not getting my $10 this week, babe. Sorry.
We're right. We can't eat.
We got you.
You got to get a Happy Meal now instead of a large McFlurry.
Yeah.
They are going to start making adult Happy Meals. So.
I'm like, man, but I'm happy because I feel like I was like, man, these are the first 2 weeks I've been in contention, like seriously for most points in like 5 years. Team that's in the middle, I fight my way, you know. But all right, over under. Funk is 116. I was 135. I think now I'm like 134.3 or something, but I'm just gonna leave it at 135 with a grand total of 251.
I'm gonna go over for Funk.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be under the total.
Over Funk. Under total. I'm gonna go myself over. Why not?
That's what I did last week, Josh, and I put up 70 points, just like, yeah.
Yep. Well, then people will be like, oh, same old Josh. All right, let's go Mac and Barber. I think this one has a chance to be interesting here. Let me get to it real quick.
The good old McBarber.
Barber's on a streak.
Let it ride, baby. Let it ride. Sorry.
I kind of feel like he's due though, like for someone to just like ball out and beat him. You know what I mean? And Funk's team kind of has that potential. Obviously he has Cooper Kupp, Devontae, Aaron Jones. Burrow against Baltimore could be a sneaky one that could throw for like 302 touchdowns. Like last year, those were two of his best games. I don't know if you guys remember, but like those were the games that Jamar Chase went off for like 50 points each game, fantasy points. And Baltimore's defense has been pretty forgiving to quarterbacks when it comes to their points. So I'm just debating if I want to take the upset or not. I'm gonna go for it. I'm going Mac.
Wow.
Don't let me down. 1 week where he guesses all 5 right, and all of a sudden
you're getting too cocky,
he's got
dude.
The secret
too
juju.
Cocky, yeah. Listen, I know
can
one
call
thing.
an upset from a mile away.
All I know is that black don't crack. I take Barber.
Ooh. I saw this funny it was like a not like a meme but like a snapshot of someone's like tweet or whatever, and they were like, since betting or gambling became legal in Kansas, I set out a goal to make like 7,500 this month, and he's like, only 22,000 left to go before I reach that goal. I was like, yep, that's about right.
All right, you know.
All right, B-Man, who you going?
I'm gonna go Mac. I love the Tony Pollard start. And I don't know if I'm loving the Tyler Lockett start for Matt and Amari Cooper start for Matt.
You're going Mac.
Yeah, I think Thielen would fit a little bit better in Matt's lineup this week. But I'm feeling Mac this week. He's another team that's kind of trending upwards at times. So I'm gonna pick this as a big boom week for him.
All right, so let's go the over under. Mac is 125.1, Barber 135.4. The total is 260.5.
I hate
I'm
to
gonna
be this.
go over for Mac.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under for Mac. I don't see a Mac having a great week this week.
I'm gonna go under the total. This is one where I think one of them might shit the bed, and that's all it's gonna take because that is a pretty high total for both to reach. So I'm going under, or it might just be one of those like 120 to 115 type of games or something.
Right.
So all right, let's go to the two more interesting matchups, especially like person wise. Because Craig versus Dan isn't that interesting, really.
The two biggest cupcakes
Hey,
just
everybody.
slamming their pussy faces together, dude.
Right,
Let me be the
exactly.
cupcake this week. No, me.
No, I want to be the cupcake.
All right, so Craig, I'm assuming you're going yourself.
I'm the fucking best. There ain't no goddamn way I go out there and put up less than 100 a fourth time. So yes,
In 5 weeks.
I think. Let me give you some valid reasons real quick. Let
Okay,
me just look at my team.
defend yourself.
Let's
Defend
see.
yourself, sir.
Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson is obviously spoken for himself. The dude's a G when he wants to be. Baltimore didn't look great. He's going to be great. Kamara is finally going to be healthy and play, and he's going to feast. Finally.
You hope.
Week 5, baby. He was waiting for week 5. I hope. If not, it might uninstall. George Wilson is proven to be very serviceable. Gets a lot of looks.
Yeah.
He's doing great. Terry McLaurin, again, we have that third wide receiver down. He's going to pop off. He's going to get a lot more looks. Hopefully that's what it takes for him to at least have a good game. Drake London, the volume's there, the red zone's there. He just needs to convert. Obviously, it helps when your quarterback puts up more than 2 points. Fucking Mariota. Gerald Everett and Freiermuth are proving to be honestly extremely good tight ends as well. So Metcalf, fucking the best QB rating right now in the league is Geno Smith. So that's all I got to say. I'm just set to win. The Jets at Miami, I got really fucking high on Tuesday night and forgot to put in waivers for defenses, which is why I only picked up fucking Duvernay. So
I don't think there was a lot of great options. I looked.
No.
Yeah,
there was a couple, I think the 2 top ones, but yeah, there wasn't a whole lot. So the Jets could really bite me. But Miami has that chance with backup quarterback, so we'll see what happens. That's my defense.
Okay. B-Man, who you going?
Let's see here. I'm gonna go Craig as well. My man deserves a win, and he needs a good pick me up. So
Does he
Love you,
deserve
BB.
it though? Does he? I mean,
Does he though?
Putting up less than 100 3 out of 4 weeks.
Dude,
like, does he?
it's freak accidents. I haven't had my number 2 pick all fucking year. God, my 1 pick all year, dude.
Boo-hoo! Boo-hoo! Sounds like excuses. Are you going to teach Quinn to make excuses?
No, you're right. You're right. Thank you. I can't be a bitch. Got to be better. I'm going to be better. I will be better this week. Thanks for setting me straight, Josh. You're right. You're right.
Here in the fantasy game, we do not make excuses.
Right, exactly.
No excuses. No excuses.
There's no crying in fantasy football. Are you kidding me?
There's some. It's frowned upon.
I literally thought about taking that fucking 5th of Jack Fire Nate got me tonight and just fucking slam that. And I'm like, I got to do the podcast and I don't want to be a sloshed, so I will not. So
I will say though, Craig, I'm not going to pick you. I'm going to pick Dan. But I am going to say a lot of positive things about your team. This is, I think, your best looking lineup that you've had all year. Now, granted, I know health has been an issue. That's why for part of it, but I don't really like McLaurin just because that offense is kind of stalled, and even when it wasn't stalling, McLaurin wasn't the number 1 fantasy wise. It's been Curtis and Jahan.
He was
Dotson.
a horrible pick. I regret the pick.
Yeah, but I like London, like you said. It's kind of all up to Mariota, but I think he'll bounce back after last week. Everett's been that was a real good pickup. Yeah. He's been pretty good so far. So that was awesome. I agree with you on Metcalf. I think he'll Geno has proven that he can sustain him. So having him back in your lineup, Jeff Wilson's been awesome. So I like your lineup. I think it'll be more competitive, especially going forward. I just like some of Dan's players. If Kamara's back to doing Kamara things, that could be where you pick up where I think like the difference between like Jefferson and AJ Brown and your receivers. So like I feel like there's a big gap between Jefferson and AJ Brown and your receivers. If Kamara's back, I feel like that could be just as big of a gap that your running backs are better than his running backs. I think Hurts and Jackson kind of wash out. So then, yeah, and then who knows with Pitts? I mean, he's had one good week. If I was Dan, I would honestly play Robert Tonyan over Pitts right now until he shows some consistency. But the Bills' defense against Pittsburgh, I think that might be another one that gets him like 20 points. So I'm going Dan,
Right.
but
yeah, that defense I'm so scared of that defense. God damn it.
So
I think the Steelers are going to start the rookie quarterback.
They are,
Who
bro. He's
knows?
the best, man.
He's
I
really
want to
good.
Kenny Pickett, yeah.
I want to pick up Pickens just in case, but I don't have any goddamn space on my shithole roster because I got too much upside.
So actually, though, I'm the only one that went Dan. Ike went Dan, or Craig as well.
Ike, my boy.
This is a big week for you, Craig. Don't you let me down.
I'm not. That picked me up. I needed to pick me up.
Good.
I might drink myself to death next week if I lose.
Hey, at least invite me over.
Yeah, you'll be there. You'll be there. We'll make it pop off. We'll have a good old send off for Craig.
Oh man, a fifth of pop or a half gallon pop off again, just like the old days.
Just like the old days, baby.
Okay, let's go to the over under on that one. So Craig, you're 124.6, and Dan is 132.5. That's 257.1. That's a tough one.
I'll go
ahead.
under the total. I'll go under the total.
Craig under total. All right, B man, what you doing?
I'm also gonna go under that total.
All right, I guess I'll just sweep it under total. Because that's hard. I do feel like you're due, Craig, but then I also feel like that's a really high mark for you to hit.
So, bro, that's what you guys realize. Like, I'm projected the same amount of points. Like, my players, it's just fucking bullshit. Like, last week I had 3 games with rain. I had to fucking it was fuck this game. I hate fantasy football. Let's make a stadium outside so the weather's involved. That's a great fucking idea. Then let's put a bunch of money on it, and then it can be influenced by the fucking weather.
That's how our ancestors did it, Craig.
Yeah, right. It's stupid. There should be a roof put on every stadium, or so it should be burned to the fucking ground. That's all I know.
You think our ancestors had fucking heaters on their sideline while playing football?
It's a great example, dude. You know what?
I had to rub 2 sticks together to create a fire. All right, and then sometimes they played in that fire.
Open stadiums are a joke. It's 2022. Get your shit together, NFL. You got fucking multi-billion-dollar fucking.
Well, I think it should be at least like a retractable roof type of thing. Where if it's a beautiful day, you could do it. If not, close the roof.
Sure.
But all right, let's go to the last one. Shane versus Bren. Bren, I'm assuming you're going yourself.
Oh yeah.
Would you like to defend yourself?
Week. I don't think I need to. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right?
That's true.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious.
I mean,
I'll defend you because I'm picking you, Brennan. Let me defend you real quick.
Thank you.
So, I mean, Arizona's offense, I mean, I know it's been struggling, but I mean, Herbert hasn't looked of form yet. So we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously Herbert is an elite quarterback, but I think Murray is also an elite quarterback. They can wash each other out. Mixon is a volume master. I mean, if he converts those touchdowns that he had last week, you're seeing a 30 plus point game from Mixon.
Oof, that's a lot.
I mean, I think Cincinnati's getting their shit together. I think they're going to be moving the ball. I think Mixon, McCaffrey's been playing pretty solid all year too, but I think I give Mixon the upper hand, honestly, with the way Carolina's been going. So Baker Mayfield's a bum. Dobbins, I mean, Dobbins showed you last week that offense that he can be utilized how he needs to be utilized. It sucks. It kind of sucks for me because it does take away from my quarterback, but it's good to see Dobbins come back, play a healthy game, and give you promise. I think he's just as promising as Edwards-Helaire. I still think Edwards-Helaire is on the decline, but it's Kansas City, so any given week that motherfucker could put up points. But I like your team up to there. Deebo Samuel is coming back to shape as well. Garoppolo looked a lot better last week. Didn't Garoppolo play last week still? It's going to be Garoppolo for a while, right?
Yeah.
Very serviceable quarterback. I heard.
Yeah, I mean, Trey Lance is out for the season. So
I was going to say,
the full season?
Trey's done for the
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
I didn't remember what injury he had, but I did hear
snapped his ankle or something.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, I did hear a lot of. I don't remember what they are, but I did hear a lot of promising stats on Garoppolo. I mean, he's one of those guys that just he wins games and he's very humble. So it's good to see him.
Does he though?
He does, man. He does. I'll find the clip for you. It was like it was
just messing with you, Craig. I
was gonna say he's just a handsome man. I would fuck him anyway.
He's a good-looking man.
Very
he's
handsome man.
Good-looking dude.
I would. Yeah, I'd get on that.
Yeah.
But Deebo Samuel, he's looking to be like where you drafted him. He was looking to be the guy you wanted to be. Again, Pittman, that offense. I mean, Shane. I asked him early. He got to be worried about that offense in Indy. Pittman obviously can do it, but I still think I give everything.
Having to rely on two people for it, know, like if it's the Chiefs or something like that, that's one thing.
Right.
Because that was the one thing when the whole CEH thing came up. Like I was thinking about it because I was like, well, if I'm gonna rely on two people from an offense, like the Chiefs is one of them,
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you on that.
I do give him Christian Kirk over CeeDee Lamb until Prescott comes back. Now I know everyone loves Cooper Rush, is that his name, playing right now? Everyone loves Cooper Rush for Dallas, and he's been doing some fun stuff. So CeeDee Lamb has that possibility to match Kirk, but I do like Kirk more. I will never like Godare from what he did to me, but I understand his ceiling. But Higbee's proving to be that number 2/3 guy there right now for the Rams. So I still give it to Higbee, especially at Dallas. And then Deontay Johnson and Marquise Brown again. It's I think. I will say I think Marquise Brown hurts you. Having Marquise Brown, because if he throws any touchdowns to him, it hurts you more than it helps you. But
well, it depends what kind of touchdown too. If it's like a 60-yard bomb, that really hurts Bren.
Yeah.
But if it's like a 1-yard touchdown, it's not a huge difference. You know what I mean? It's a difference of 1 point, which I guess could matter, but.
Right. I'll give him Brown, but I do think Jackson and Houston and Green Bay and the Giants, those are two great matchups. I'm going to be very excited to see it. I still give it to Green Bay just because the Giants don't really have a quarterback. Does anyone know what they're doing at quarterback yet?
No, I don't think there's been any set.
We're going to see the Navy come out and play Wildcat this week versus Green Bay. That should be interesting. And then you said it, McPherson, number 1 kicker in the league.
No, he's not.
Should be.
He probably has the biggest dick in the league, but he's not the best kicker.
He's up there for dick size too.
It should be a pretty good one, but I will say I think Shane's team is showing his showing some stripes, as it were. He's
he's vulnerable right now.
He's looking a little vulnerable over there with
he was chopping JT, bro.
That's what I'm saying. He's looking. That's the first sign of weakness. It's time to pounce.
Everyone flood him. Everybody flood him.
Flood him with trades for JT.
Flood him with kicker trades for JT.
Lots of kickers.
JT's pathetic, obviously.
We'll give you the Lions defense and kicker.
Well, dude, I just noticed Shane really likes
the one that they just got rid of.
Shane really likes Jacksonville. He has their kicker, their defense, and Christian Kirk.
He's got 2 offenses on his
team. He really invests heavily in team.
Right, imagine if he did have JT. Granted, JT and Pittman, okay, you could see that, but like you said, basically having to rely on 2 offenses.
Holy shit! I didn't even realize he doesn't have 3 fucking Jacksonville people starting. Yeah. That's insane. I get it. I mean, Jacksonville looks hot, but boy, that's too much.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying it's a worst play, but it's just kind of weird too. Thinking that Jacksonville's a good team, to support 3 different. I totally get it.
Still feels weird.
Yeah, I'm going Bren as well. mainly because of the stupid, switcheroo that Shane tried to do in the trade.
Personal.
Still
so it is.
Yeah, I understand.
It is very personal. But yeah, I do. I think I don't think Mixon's gonna get 30 points, but I do think he's gonna have a solid mixing game. I think Dobbins is underrated. He's only gonna get more touches and play more snaps and stuff. I think CeeDee Lamb and Christian Kirk are actually even. And then I actually think Higbee's better than Goddard.
100%.
That's so like I was thinking this while you were talking, Craig. Like, so Shane has 3 tight ends, and all of them are,
Classic.
let's be real. Like Kittle's a mediocre tight end, especially this year.
Kittle is an elite athlete and an elite tight end who just doesn't play. So like he hasn't played forever, so he's useless. He's like fucking Michael Thomas.
And when he does, he's such an elite blocker that they just keep him in. Like he doesn't run as many routes as other tight ends and stuff. You know what I mean? So like he has all the potential, but they just don't use him in that way.
Yeah.
So but then he has Njoku and stuff. So like, what's the point of having 3 mediocre tight ends? Like, because then you just have to choose the right one. Hope you choose the right one.
Like, I don't understand. I like how
I would choose one or maybe 2. Like I can understand if you have Goddard and Kittle or Kittle and Njoku or any combination of those 2. But why have 3? Like you can have so much more. Take someone, a running back that has potential or a wide receiver that has potential instead of a mediocre tight end.
I do like his pickup on Pacheco because I wanted to do that again. Didn't have space. So I do like his pickup on the up and comer, possibly. We'll see. I do like that. But yeah, I agree. Goddard and Kittle is enough. I don't think you need any more than that. Unless he was trying to block somebody this week. I mean, there's multiple players I would rather have.
But Bren doesn't need a tight end though. Like Brent's doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know who he'd be blocking, but there's multiple wide receivers that you could have, even some defenses if you wanted. I don't know, but yeah, Njoku, maybe keeping him from Dan. I don't know. Njoku's a good, matchup dependent guy. But I agree.
Yeah, Njoku, I wanted him in the trace just because I wanted him as my backup for Kelsey for Kelsey's bye week. So I was just getting ahead of the curve.
I mean, again, he has 3 Jacksonville and 2 Colts on his
and
starting
3
lineup.
Tight ends.
So let's not question his thought process right now.
Right,
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
That's fair. So yeah, I'm going Bren on that, and because I'm so spiteful of Shane right now, I'm also going Bren over his total.
Nice.
I will also go Brent over the total. I think he's going to ball out this week.
I'm doing the same, dude.
Nice.
We're sweeping him.
Dude,
again, Mixon, man, if he just converts some of those touchdowns, the dude's crazy.
Yeah, like I said, I did say this about the Buffalo-Baltimore game that it was going to be high scoring, but I think that one could be high scoring as well.
It'll be interesting because that Cincy O-line is still not really together yet.
Yeah.
So Mixon only averaged like 3 yards a carry. So it's tough.
This is where though I was trying to get to with Melvin Gordon is I think Cincy's offense is better than Denver's. So obviously, I think that since he's going to have more opportunity to score, thus meaning Joe Mixon, he's going to have more opportunity to fall in the end zone. Where I don't think Melvin, and that's where my argument for Melvin Gordon or any of those running backs was: how often do you think that offense has found itself and is going to be a better offense, or is it going to be what we've seen the last 3 weeks where they're scoring 14 points a game? You know what I mean?
Denver?
And stuff like that. Yeah.
They're trash. They're going to continue to be trash.
Right. So then you shouldn't expect much from Melvin Gordon. Like, yeah, okay, he's going to get 15 touches, but if he's getting 3 yards a carry, that's 45 yards. You know what I mean? Like, to where
100%. I understand.
He's to me like Gordon's the poor man's Joe Mixon.
I understand the upside of wanting to see that offense come to fruition and have the red zone looks on Gordon. I get it. Again, the trade makes more sense. It's just essentially, you're just hoping on upside for both of them. Both.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, and then I realized that I didn't go over the standing before either. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Let me pull them up real quick. All right. So at the adult table, we have Josh in first place at 3-1. Brent in second place at 2-2. We have Dan in third place at 1-3. Funk in fourth place at 1-3, and Craig, you're in last in fifth place at 1-3.
Hey, 1-3 though. That's a good. Hey.
Yeah. In the kitty table, Barber's first at 4-0. Nate 3-1. I'm not gonna lie, I would not have thought Nate would be 3-1 right now. So good for him. Like I said, his team's been sneaky good. Justin's at 2-2. Shane's at 2-2, and Max at 1-3. In points 4, you got Barber in first. You got Josh in second. Justin third. Nate fourth. You got Dan in fifth. Craig, I'm gonna save you the suspense. You're 10th.
Whoa, you sure? Double check those numbers, bud. I don't think you're right.
Brent, you're 6th. Shane is 7th. Mac 8th. Funk 9th. And like I said, Craig 10th. Points against.